Welcome back, everybody. We now have a very simple game that we can now start to put some analytics over the top of and start to do the fun stuff, the meat of this tutorial series. Alright, so before we can do that, I figured that we should give a quick little overview of what AWS is and what it does. Yes, so let's move over to AWS. Where am I? I am on aws.amazon.com, and if you do not already have an account, then you will need to sign up for one, and that will ask you to put in your credit card details. Everything that we're going to do from this tutorial series has the free tier available to it, and we're going to take advantage of the free tier as much as we freaking can. When I built this entire application while I was doing my dev phase, I think the entire thing cost 18 cents, and that wasn't because of the services that we were using, that was because of the actual data transfer. So let's get going and talk about the different services that we'll be using, or the main building blocks of AWS, and then we will, every time we're going to do something that will have a charge against it, we'll point out and say this is what it is and this is how much you can expect. But the only thing that we're going to have any money against us for is network transfer fees. Rightio, so let's sign into the console. What's it doing? Click the sign in button. Now it's working. Alright, where's it going to take us to? So this one is taking me to my account page. Your sign-in page will probably look a little bit different. Let's go to the root account instead of a different account. Here we go. So if you're looking like this, then you're going to sign in with your root account, and that is probably what you're seeing for the first time if you have never logged into AWS again. Before, not again. Here we go. AWS has a whole bunch of services that do different things, and those services do what they do incredibly freaking well. There are very broad things that let you do anything on them, essentially, and then there are ones that are so specifically focused on their one thing, but they are streamlined to do that one thing incredibly well. The main ones that we'll be using in this tutorial series is, we've got them all listed at the top. We've got, why is my mouse playing funny with me? There it goes. We'll be using Mobile Analytics to capture our data. We'll be using S3 to store our data. We'll be using an RDS, a relational database service, to store the summarized versions of our data. And then we'll be using EC2 as a website host to be able to run a website that we can connect to. So let's quickly talk about before we talk about any of those, we are going to talk about IAM roles, which is probably the best security point of the whole thing. When you've logged in with your account, you have logged in with the base root account, and this root account has the ability to do whatever it wants to your account, which is not the best thing to be logging in with. So we're going to go straight to IAM, and then we're going to wait for it to load, and it's nearly there. There we go. And now we have our IAM resources. We're going to go to users. If this is the first time you're logging into your IAM profile, then you will see that there is nothing here. There is no users in there. And you go, wait, what am I logging in with? You're logged in with the root account, so not an IAM user. So let's make a new user. And for this one, we'll call it demo user. Sounds good enough. Now there's two different types of access types you can give to it. There is a management console access, so it can actually log into the console and provision services and do things, which can only use the services you give it access to. Let's call this one, what's the password we're going to give it? Tomato123. There we go, Tomato123. And then we are also going to give it programmatic access, which means that it'll give us an access key and a security key so that we can log on to services using the CLI, so we can do other things with it. Programmatically. Rightio, so Tomato123 and demo user, and this account must create a new password next time it signs in. So let's go to next.
Cool.
Awesome. Now we're going to say, what do we want to have this thing be able to do? What access, what services do we want this account to have access to? So let's go to create a group, and we'll call this one SQS access. Now if you're following along at the moment, I'm just doing this to demonstrate something. We're not actually going to use this group. SQS, it can't have spaces in there. And so you go, what do you want this account to have access to? And we might say we want it to be able to access the simple queuing service. And it'll say, cool. So here's everything that has SQS in it. And we'll go, yes, this account can have full access to the SQS service.
Cool.
And we'll go, great, create group. And that's really it. We would go next.
Yep.
But we're not going to give an account that has SQS access. We're going to read one that has super admin. So this account can log on to AWS and do basically whatever it wants. But the key thing it can't do is it won't be able to come into your organization details or to your billing dashboard. So it won't be able to steal your credit card details or look at bills or other things like that. I know. So if you're in a big organization and you don't want to have everyone being able to look at what everything is charging and then having arguments about who's costing more money or whatever, then you would give them another account like this, and then they can't get to billing. Also, you might want to lock down so that certain parts of your IT organization will only be able to get into certain services as well. So like the data team can only go into the databases or spin up some EC2 servers. You can get pretty freaking granular on this type of stuff. All right, so this account here, demo user with tomato123, is going to be a super administrator, and we'll go review. And it pops up and says right here is what it's going to be. It is going to have access to the console. Where am I seeing that one? Here, right here. So it has access to the console and it has programmatic access as well. And does it require a password to be reset? It goes, yes I do. Awesome.
So then programmatic access is like you put in your details for, like in your app settings or something for your programs you've spun up or something?
Yes, so they are the security credentials that you use to do other things, interact with your services. So if you need to if you need to be able to get a file from S3, then you tell your application, you have access, this particular user or this particular group of users has access to talk to this file in S3. And now your account or this demo user account will talk to it through the programmatic access.
Okay.
Rightio, so let's go create user on this one. You'll also see the manage policy of IAM user change password. That's saying this account must change the password next time it logs in.
Alright.
Okay, then we get provisioned with an access key ID and a secret key. Now you have one chance to take note of these things. I'm just going to take note of the current details we've been putting in there. Demo user, not demo used. You get provisioned an access key ID and a secret key. You'll notice that it's hidden. You have one chance to grab this key and save it. So we'll take note of the access key ID and the secret key will show it. It'll automatically select it. We'll copy and paste it into Notepad so we have this user's details somewhere. If you do not get this secret key and you press close, then it's gone. You can't get it again. You had one chance to get it. But you blew it. You can just create another one though. So we'll go to demo user and we will go to security credentials of this user, and we could change the password on it if we wanted to, but we're not going to do that. We will look here. So this is the access keys that that this account has available to it. So we will now create a second access key and we'll go, yes please, I will take this one and save it over to Notepad. And we'll grab that security key now as well and stick it there. So now we have two access keys, two programmatic access keys against this one account, but it doesn't let me make a second one. And it goes, no, you can't. You've only got two. You've only got two allowed to.
Is there a reason for that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. The reason is if you were to create, let's say you had a service that was up and running and it was using your credentials or this access key to do things, then you just forgot about what the credentials were, and now 3 months later you need to provision a new piece of service using this same account. You would go ahead and you'd create a new access key, and then you would tell all the applications to use the new security credentials while you're telling the new application to use the new security credentials. That way there is no interruption. You can have both accounts active at the same time. And then you go, rightio, I'm pretty sure I got everything. I'll just make inactive one of those ones, the first one. And now it's still there. Everyone should be switched over to this thing. So now you'd be able to see, oh crap, we missed this other application off the side which has suddenly stopped working. And then once you know everything's good to go, you can delete the security keys, and it goes, are you sure you want to delete it? And you go, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But you'll notice that while it's got the access key here, there is no security key here. You've had your chance to get it, and if you didn't get it, too bad. There is no way to get it. If you get in touch with AWS support and ask them, they will tell you, I'm sorry, we can't help you with that. You'll just have to make a new security access key. Making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Rightio. So we then have this login link here, because anyone can have, any other account in the world might have demo user as their user ID. Like how many Richard Morwoods are there out there, or how many Nick Cartons are there out there?
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know how many Richard Morwoods there are. I found 2 on Facebook.
I think there's like 1 or 2 Nick Cartons.
Yeah. Did you look at what they look like?
No.
No.
They're always like the ones with the LinkedIn profile pictures that are hidden.
Okay.
So
you can hide your LinkedIn profile picture.
Or maybe they just didn't upload one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough then. Alright, getting off topic there. Let's go to sign out of this. So I'm now signing out of the root account. And now we'll come along to the URL, which is specific to our account. Just copying tomato123. Alright, so my account is called ASTV. We'll get rid of that and we'll put in tomato. No. That's the username, isn't it? It was demo_user and the password was tomato123.
Yeah.
Sign in.
So it should ask us for a new password.
Oh no, you must change your password. Old user, new password. I'm going to make it
Potato123
with a capital P.
Oh yeah, it's more secure.
Potato123. Potato. It's more secure. You'll see at the bottom it also says sign in using the root account credentials, and you go, that's cool, I can do that, but I would advise you not to do that unless you absolutely need to do it. And then we get the big AWS spinning wheel, and hooray, we are now logged in as demo user of ASTV. Hooray, we are logged in with a new account. Alright, so what else do we want to talk about? I think that's actually where we'll end this video, and no, there is something else I want to talk about. Regions of AWS.
That's right, yeah.
AWS has lots of different regions available to it. It has services all over the world. So let's go to Sydney, Australia, because we're in Sydney, Australia. See any kangaroos today, Nick?
Only a few, don't it? You know what, I had some pretty good kangaroo skewers.
They were quite yum. That lamb was delicious.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just went out for lunch. Alright, so I'll go into this in a lot more detail as to what this service is, but I'm just going to quickly go to EC2. And I already have a running instance. In fact, no, let's just use that one there. So I've got a whole bunch of servers running on my account at the moment. And I have them all listed in Sydney. But if I were to suddenly switch over to Canada, you'll see that all of my services will disappear.
Come on, Canada.
Any second now. They think I'm slow, eh? I'm going to get in trouble. Someone's going to send me hate mail for that. Alright, so if you log on to any of your services and you find that it's not there, but you know you've got something there, the first thing you do is you look up here and say, what region am I selected to? So I'm going to jump back over to Sydney.
Before you get onto your production environment and freak out because all the servers are gone.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's happened to me a few times. Alright, so, while we're here, let's have a quick little talk about EC2. EC2 is pretty cool in that it is a server that you turn on, you start getting charged for it while your server is up and running, and then you turn it off and you stop getting charged for it. But it remembers everything. It remembers everything about itself. It just doesn't cost you anything because it's not powered on. So Amazon have these availability zones. So in Sydney, they have 3 availability zones. One's at Ultimo, just down the road from us, Nick.
Yep.
The other one is out at Eastern Creek Raceway. And I don't know where the third one is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I only know about what's it called?
Ultimo?
You want it Ultimo? What's it called?
Global Switch.
Global Switch.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's right. Anyway, Global Switch is like 2 blocks from here. It's pretty cool. It's basically all of Sydney's infrastructure basically goes through that one building. And the reason they have these availability zones is because what happened a year or two ago was we had a rather large burst of rain come along in Sydney, and it actually flooded it flooded the Global Switches building, and the entire availability zone of whichever one that was, A, B, or C, was actually taken offline. Amazon had to go, wow, there's water getting in, quick, turn everything off. So everyone's server just was instantly turned off, and everyone stopped being charged, so that was nice.
But then also a bunch of places stopped making money.
Yeah, a bunch of places stopped making money because their websites went down. But what you could also do is say, I need this to have high availability. So you would set up a server in Sydney Southeast or Asia Pacific Southeast 2A. You could set another server, a replication server, up in the availability zone of B or C, and they're actually physically different environments. They are physically different buildings that are quite far apart. And so now you have this environment that might go down, but your other thing comes up or is still up, and so you still have services that are available. All right, so the other thing you can do is, I don't need this server anymore, so if I can click the right server, that would be quite good, wouldn't it? Let's here, you off. I don't need this game to play. I can come to actions and then go instant state. You can see it's stopped at the moment, so I could turn it on and start being charged, or I could terminate it. And it says, hey, if you do this, then I'm going to completely delete myself, and anything you have on here is going to go away. And you go, yeah, sure, go away. And it goes, all right then, cool. Not only can you not get this server back anymore, well, that's really it. You can't get this server back anymore.
Yeah, I wish I knew that before I deleted my Minecraft server, that you could just stop and start them again. I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, that's my nice world gone.
Oh,
I actually left that going for like 3 months, and I was like, whoops.
Oh. Well, let's talk about that for a second there. Left it going for 3 months. You turned it off because you wanted to stop getting charged for it or something?
Well, it wasn't until Amazon messaged me, and I mean, I guess I just didn't see the emails, but it's like I got an email, and they're like, oh yeah, you're getting charged for this much. And I was like, what happened to the free tier 12 months thing?
Fair enough then.
And then they're like, oh yeah, well, I mean, you kept your stuff running. And I'm like, I mean, it still ended up being like $7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, like, that's not too bad, but I was still like, oh, damn.
So what happened? You went over the 12-month period?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Rightio. So
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So when you set up an instance, which we'll talk about later on, and why we're saying this is going to be very cheap for you, is because you do get 12 months of services you can turn on for free, and it's not until that 12 months is over that you will actually be charged for them. So it sounds like Nick had his server on for quite a long time.
Quite a while. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and end this video here. We will come back to talk about EC2 in a lot more detail when we actually get to that point in the lesson.
All right, cool.
But the next one thing we're going to do is get our mobile analytics set up. Until then, everyone, I will hope you enjoy your break.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I will.